Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Similaria and I am showing you around my custom neighborhood today, some of the community lots that I've built recently. So over here we have kind of our lower income area. There is a trailer park over here. I built quite a few rental lots and then also used one pre-made lot and built a couple of residential lot trailers as well. Oh, and I love when this random pig thing flies in front of the screen. But I wanted to show you through a couple of the community lots that I built in this area. And starting with this corner grocery, I modeled it off of like a bodega style that you might find like on a corner in New York City, something where residents can walk from nearby homes and go ahead and purchase food and other items. So looking at this lot from the outside, it does have quite a bit of custom content. So if you have any questions about where I got stuff, feel free to ask in the comments. I probably won't cover everything just because it's kind of hard to remember off the top of my head where I got stuff from. But I did download, thanks to a Pleasant Sims post, a lot of these commercial air conditioner type downloads. So I use those in my commercial builds to try and make them a little more realistic. But anyway, here's the lot. So I had it on an angle kind of to make it look like that corner grocery type lot. And on the backside here, I also downloaded some deco cars. So here we have a delivery van and then just a car in this parking spot. I realize this probably isn't wide enough to be an actual street realistically, but I thought it looked kind of cool for this build. I have not fully finished the upstairs. I haven't decided yet if I want to make this like a purchasable lot where a sim lives and runs the business downstairs, or if I want to keep this as a lot that sims can just visit. So the upstairs for right now could be an apartment. It's just empty. I have an exit over here, and then there's also stairs downstairs into the back hallway of the bodega. But I think this could make a really cute apartment. I'm just not sure exactly how I want to play the lot, so I left it empty for now. But if we go downstairs, I tried to make this feel as realistic as I could while also sticking to, you know, the early 2000s of The Sims 2, which I just love. I have not yet I did play test this lot. I was able to bring a sim here and there was someone at the cash register. My sim was able to purchase groceries, a game, magazines, everything that was in here. There were other sims on the lot using some of the stuff in the back. So this lot is play tested and it's usable. For this area up here, I really wanted to make it look like when you walk into one of those stores and they're behind the glass. I didn't want to close it off fully because obviously the Sims couldn't use it, but it does work. They're still able to purchase jewelry and everything else over here. So I thought that looked decently realistic. And then over here, I put in a speaker, which I honestly regretted. I might just delete that while I'm here. It ended up being classical music because I forgot that you could like pick different speakers and the vibe was just not there. Like when my sim came and it was playing classical music, I'm like, this isn't very like bodega like. But anywho, they've got produce and a couple other things. And then I did put a TV in the corner kind of to simulate like the security cameras that they have in places like this. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Someone else mentioned that when they had a TV like that on a community lot, all of the Sims would just stand around watching it. I didn't play test this lot super long, but I didn't have that problem myself. So it could be an issue, it could not be, but I thought it looked kind of cool. Over here we have all of the cold food and everything like that. And then, like I said, they can come over here and buy this other stuff as well. In the back, we have a little like employee area. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the walls just so it's not so hard to see. And I did put in one of these games back here. So there's the arcade game and just a little employee lounge area. And then over here we have the restroom. Also on Pleasant Sims, she has like a realistic builds list. And so I downloaded a whole bunch of commercial restroom items and light switches and things like that. So I've been trying to add light switches to all my builds. It's just kind of a fun way to make it seem a little more real. And I think in this one I put a hand dryer. Yeah, so I put a hand dryer on the wall there. There's also a soap dispenser, which I did not add to this build, it looks like. But with that particular download, I think it's actually in wall items. Yeah, so they have this little restroom soap dispenser and you can just pop it right over there, which I think is kind of cute for the realism. So this build is pretty small. And then, like I said, I have some of these more like commercially electrical outlet boxes and things like that that I added to the back. One thing that I feel like Sims 2 is really missing is exterior doors for commercial lots. So, you know, like just a plain no windows door or something like that that would go off the back of a building. A couple times now I've been playing and I've just felt like I don't have the right door. So I did use this door here. I don't love it. It doesn't really go with the vibe of the building, but I left it for now because it was the best one I could find. I'm also realizing that there is no wallpaper in this room. I think for now I'm just going to do the industrial brick like everything else. That kind of finishes it off a little bit. So that's what it looks like during the daytime. And then at night, all the lights function. I love the Sims 2 aesthetic at night. Being able to like see in the windows and everything and the little light coming through. I've done a few more builds along this street also, and I just love the realism that it adds when you scroll around and you can see the other buildings. Daytime and nighttime, both of them. I haven't built a ton of commercial lots, but I've been really testing my own building abilities recently and trying to make them feel realistic while also staying within that Sims 2 aesthetic. I don't need it to be hyper realistic, but I have been loving the way that I'm doing these roofs lately by using a half wall instead of just lining them with like a fence tool or something like that. I think it adds a little more depth, and I was like looking at inspo pictures and things like that, and it just made more sense to me to make them feel a little more realistic. And then I've got, like I said, that air conditioning unit up here, and then of course, because it's a community lot, there's a phone, so I have that there. And then the trash can, I put a second one too. I didn't love that this lot had like a weird grading here, but I figured it kind of looked okay with that wall, simulating like a concrete barrier that you might see downtown or something like that. So this corner was a little interesting. I haven't built a corner like that before, and I really like the way it turned out. Seeing through these windows now, I'm kind of thinking that I might honestly want to put like an apartment up there. So we'll have to see what I decide to do with this lot. But yeah, this is my bodega that I built. I'm calling it Corner Grocery for now. Want it to be really accessible to the Sims living in this part of town. We are back in the neighborhood, and next I'm going to show you a build that I just completed today. This is called Safe Haven, and it is based on a homeless shelter that was in the town that I grew up in, and it was a place that was only for females, so women were able to come who were in domestic situations, who were unhoused, and they could stay there for a limited amount of time. I volunteered here quite often with my family, especially when I was in junior high. I remember going and serving meals and just spending time with residents. It really left an impact on me as a young kid, and I was inspired to try a build like this. Similar to the bodega, I'm not really sure how I'm going to use this lot. I have not play tested it yet because I'm unsure. You'll see that I used apartment doors, and my first thought was to convert it into an apartment so that Sims could live just in their rooms. I went ahead and saved it to the Lots and Houses bin so that I can playtest it as a residential house and also as an apartment. I didn't want to like ruin the lot and lose my build because this one took me quite a while to get right. But yeah, I loosely based it off of Home Sweet Home, which is what the shelter was called where I used to live. Sticking with my theme I went ahead and did like a little driveway. Back home, it actually had a driveway all the way around it. So you would come up one side, park in the back, and then you could come out the other way. I'm pretty sure it was like a one way. I didn't have enough space in this lot, and I've been trying to do smaller lots as well to make them feel like fuller and easier to play. I used to build really huge mansions based off of realistic floor plans, which I still do, but some of them are just genuinely too large to be comfortable playing. It's hard to find my Sims, and my computer's able to handle the size of it. It's not an issue with like actually playing. It's more like annoying to have to scroll across this giant lot and then all of landscaping, etc. Anyway, I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but again, to add some realism back here, I went ahead and put in some of those electrical boxes, some trash, and then a basketball hoop. And then I added one of those deco cars. I did the roof very much the same. I used a different border, but put a couple AC units up there. And then the windows, I don't know. When I do windows, I tend to see what they look like from the outside first, and they don't always make a ton of sense on the inside, but we'll see what it looks like. So starting on the first floor, this is really based off of like what my memory is of this place. In real life, I'm sure it was much larger than this, but it felt really compact when I was a kid, so maybe it was. So when you first came in, there was like a little lobby area, reception area where folks would check in. So I modeled that as closely as I could. I didn't put a computer or anything because it's an island, but there's a place for Sims to sit and some of that more like office-y looking decor, a phone. I think I put a little bulletin board on the wall. I left the decor in this pretty sparse because, again, I haven't play tested it yet. I want to make sure that it's actually usable before I clutter it up. But then over here, I distinctly remember this room when we would come here. It was full of toys and like a, comfy old couch and some books and things. And this was where like moms with their kids would come and hang out while they were waiting for like their paperwork to be processed and stuff. So this was a really cozy space. I always enjoyed, because I was a kid too, like seeing the kids play and playing with them and things like that. So it's just a cozy little living room space. If I do use this as an apartment or even just as a residential home, this will be kind of the main living area where folks can hang out and spend time together. And then over here is the kitchen. In reality, this room was much, much larger. There were a ton of tables, and there was an actual serving row and a kitchen and stuff in the kitchen and stuff like that. But for, the Sims purpose, I was able to fit a couple tables in here and some chairs. Again, I'd love to just get like a classic folding chair. I don't love these metal ones, but for now it works for the build. So I went ahead and added a very small kitchen, and then I tried to make this as like realistic as I could, where if you actually scroll in and see, you could pretend that this is like a serving area where they put the food and you come through the line and stuff like that. And then I have some doors out the back as well for another exit. But hopefully this is not too tight. I'm a little worried about them being able to walk past all these chairs. So if I need to take one of these tables out, it'll probably be this one, just so they can use all the entrances. And then there's a little restroom over here. Again, I have some cool custom content that I've gotten. It's toilet paper dispenser and then a changing station. This may need to move though, because I'm not sure with this being a 2-tile room that they will be able to walk past that. I thought it folded up by default, but it looks like it might just be folded down. So we'll just have to see what happens there. And then this building also had like a rec center area. I remember we went and served one time around the holidays. It was either Thanksgiving or Christmas, and they had like a painting class going on in there, and residents were painting, which was kind of cool. So I just added a couple of hobby items in here for the Sims to use. I could always change it up, especially if it's a residential lot. With apartment, I kind of have to decide what I want before I convert it, but I'll do some playtesting and see how it ends up being. And then once you go up the stairs, I did make this 3 stories. So second and third floor are kind of mirror images of each other. I just remember they had like a shared restroom, and then there were these little rooms. If I do actually play this as a lot, I'll probably have a couple of families with like 1 or 2 kids and things like that. So Right now I just made them all like single or double occupancy rooms and gave them a side table and a dresser just as default. I have the apartment doors, might change it, might not. And then each one also has this little lounge space. If you think about like having a shared kitchen, I kind of toyed around with the idea of making it similar to like a dorm. I'm pretty sure the rooms at this mission actually had a sink like this. I think they have one that's just like a wall sink. Yeah, this wall sink here. I'm pretty sure each one had a sink and a mirror in their room, kind of like a dorm room, so that if the restroom is occupied. But again, this is a small building and the restroom is pretty close to all the rooms, so I don't know if I'll actually need that. And then, like I said, I got some cool custom content that just makes this feel a little more realistic. I've got your light switch and then a couple of bathroom items like a hair dryer. And then I put in the outlets over here. And then there's a hand dryer and also paper towels, soap dispensers. And then I added some towel racks over here in the shower area. Bathroom is kind of tight. I had to make it larger a couple times because when I was building, I could not figure out where to put these stalls. So I figured it out, and then on the third floor, it looks very similar, but I added in a little study area with a computer and a phone, and then also some laundry services. Laundry is one of those things in The Sims 2. I like the CC. I like the ability to do it. It's not something I include in every build. I like my game to be realistic, like when I want it to be. I don't like to do laundry in real life, so I don't always want my Sims to have to do it, especially in the larger families. But I thought I added a little bit of realism to this build of them being able to do their laundry just up here on the third floor. So obviously any resident could use it. And everything else is very similar. Oh, it looks like I did add rugs in these third floor rooms because all of this is linoleum. So I did not add rugs downstairs. And again, this room's a little different. It's just got the table and a bookshelf and that kind of thing. I'll go ahead and add some rugs here real quick. The rugs are being kind of weird. I noticed that some of them were like they looked a little off when I placed them. I don't know if that's because I have a certain cheat on or something like that, but hopefully it doesn't mess anything up. Nope, don't like that. Okay, we'll put that one there. And that room, I don't really want to add one because it'll look kind of funny. Whoops, sorry about that. Let's just change up these rugs so they're not all identical. All right. And like I said, I left this one pretty plain. Oops, I also forgot a chair over here. We'll go ahead and give them like a computer looking chair there. So these rooms are very similar to the ones up there. Bathroom is the same. And then we have our rooftop. So yeah, I'm really interested to figure out how I'm going to play this lot. Like I said, I've been trying to stretch myself creatively lately in some of these builds. So this one was something I'd never done before, and now I just have to figure out how to actually use it in my game. A couple other builds that I've done outside the trailer park is this office. So I'm calling it Sunnydale. So Sunnydale Trailer Park, and there's a total of, what's units 1 through 3? I think there's a total of 18 units, so it's a decent size. I don't know why, but ever since I made my first custom neighborhood, like I've always just seen a trailer park over there. Even before Apartment Life came out, I have just always put trailers there. They were residential homes similar to these 3 builds over here. But now that we have apartments, I absolutely love making them. So I might tour one of those in another video, but I'm going to go ahead and show you the Sunnydale office and Sunnydale Park. And then that should be it for this first tour video. So this lot is essentially like a leasing office, but I also wanted it to be like a community area that residents could throw parties and such. Again, sticking with as much realism as I could, I went ahead and added a tiny little parking lot, just a few spaces here, added one deco car. But outside, you've got this cute little area. I don't love this. I'm not sold on keeping it like that, but I have it for now. I went ahead and added a couple tables and chairs. I've also not play tested this lot, so I'm going to see how that works pretty soon here. But then they can add like games over here, a dance party or something like that. Because it's a community lot, I can change it up in between uses and kind of change it for whatever someone needs it for. But I thought this area was nice just to have like a community place to gather. And then another way I've been trying to like test my building skills is by doing a few more raised lots. I know this is not like, this is very beginner level with a raised build, but I wanted to make it with stairs to have that like raised and lowered entrance here with the patio. So I just raised it up a couple of tiles. But here is the leasing office. So you come in and you've got this little reception area. I went ahead and added some cabinets, which are also custom content, and then I have the little coffee bar, etc. A tiny little restroom back here, and then simulating a leasing office. It's just got a couple of desks where folks can come and meet with their leasing agent. Probably for a trailer park this size it wouldn't be this big, but you never know. So this one, again, I added that touch of realism where I could. I've got the cabinets, I've got the outlets and the light switches. So I thought this room turned out pretty nice. I liked the colors. I tried to keep it, you know, like not too corporate-y, but feel more like hometowny. And then some bookshelves and something for the kids to do while they wait. So this lot's pretty small. Still took me a while to build. And then I've got my AC unit and stuff back here. They also have these vents that you can use that will actually like cool your Sims down during the summer months, but I haven't started putting them in builds yet, but I'd like to try that in the future. Also not totally sold on the fence I used, but it works. Let me know what you think, if you like it or not. So here is that office build. Go back to the dark, you can kind of see it. This area is pretty dark. I haven't added any extra lights over there. I'll play test and kind of see how I feel. I don't know if I'll really have Sims here at night anyway. The office probably closes at 5 and they are allowed to use it after hours maybe. So I will show you the park, which is right next door. And here we have Sunnydale Park. I love building parks. This one's not like super intense when it comes to a park. It's just got a couple of places to sit, a barbecue. I moved the phone off to the side. One thing I did want to change is I made it kind of look like these two lots were connected. So I'm going to go ahead and just like open that up. I think it's just one tile. And then I'm going to move these or remove these. Come on. Oh yeah, I like to hide lights under things. Kind of forgot about that. And then I'll go ahead and just add like a little, there. Like you have a little path that comes into the park. I tried to go like I like really natural looking lines and things like that. It looks a little smoother once you don't have the grid lines anymore and you're playing with your actual Sims. I have play tested this. It's a cute little park. The kids like to play. I think this is custom content. I always forget where the kids stuff is. I get confused with the Sims 4. Yeah, so this is custom content by Honeywell from Mod the Sims. I love this little set. It just adds a little bit of variety to some of the other playground items. So if you want to get that, and then it has these little bee jumpers the toddlers can use. It's really cute, and then children can play on the rest of this. So I will go ahead and show one set of apartments that I built. I'm hoping everything shows up okay since I turned it into an apartment base. I did notice that when I built an apartment, I added cabinetry, and then when my sim moved in, there were no cabinets. See, it's nighttime again. I don't know what's going on with these lots. So I built these 3 trailers, and kind of going off of the trailers that the apartment trailers that you can buy, that's a Maxis made lot. I added some wheels to just make it look a little bit more realistic, like they've kind of been plopped down here. So we'll look at these. I went really minimal with a lot of outside decor, trying to keep the cost down. It looks like the cabinets are still here. So again, this is custom content. I think these cabinets are actually a Sims 4 conversion. So I tried to make these realistic, but also it's going to be hard, I think, to make some of these really easily playable for Sims. They won't be able to put a lot of objects in them. But here's the kitchen. I went ahead and added cabinets to kind of make it look, you know, more old-fashioned. Kitchen's tight, but I think they'll be able to use it. I playtested one of the other lots. I moved a sim in and it worked okay. So these are kind of boring, but again, I've got a restroom. Some of them have showers, some of them have just a tub. And then they have matching cabinets just to keep things pretty chill. This trailer's a little larger. It's a 3-bedroom. I was inspired by Brandy Broke's trailer and made a pink kitchen in this one. I love the vanilla Sims 2 game. Like, I can't really complain. It's a beautiful game on its own, but I do play with a significant amount of custom content. One of the things that really bothered me after playing Sims 4 was not having overhead cabinets. It just makes the kitchens look so unfinished. So I did download quite a few of those, some that match base game, and all the expansion pack kitchens. But then I also just recently got a 4-to-2 conversion set, which I really love. I can't remember the creator's name. So if you'd like to know, go ahead and leave a comment and I can go through my downloads and figure it out. I just can't remember off the top of my head. So here I have another kitchen, very similar to the other trailer. I think these two were kind of like copies of each other with this larger trailer in the middle. I didn't really feel like I could fit 4 of them here without them being too narrow or too close to each other. So I did 3 instead with this larger one in the middle. It does look a little bit funny how wide it is, but if you consider it like a double wide, I think it works. So then over here, same as that far one, there's just your living room, your kitchen area, and then it's like a 1-bedroom. So I'm assuming that you'd have like either a Murphy bed in here or just like a kind of like a studio. I know it's not a studio because there are walls in it, but similar to that where you don't have like an actual full living space. I usually like to try to get as many skilling objects as I can, or I'll rotate on smaller lots. So like if a sim needs charisma, of course, they can gain that from here. But if they need creativity and body, I'll buy them, you know, the easel and some workout item. And then when they're done and they need something else like logic, I might sell one of those and buy them the chess table. But it really just depends. I think I will show this lot over here because I did like a blue theme and a green theme, really leaning into the vibrant color of The Sims 2. So there are those trailers there. I went super simple on the outside, including the roof. But let's go ahead and load up that other lot and you can see those. Okay, here we are in the blue and green trailer lot. These are, again, mirror images of each other. These are probably the ones I had the most fun building. I also liked that they were like in the middle of this area. I have made this a park before, like this center lot here, but I thought it would be fun to put like an actual home here and kind of see, oh my goodness, look at that wrong colored window. I'm gonna change that really quick there. So these were a lot of fun to build. I think it's neat that they're in the center of the community. I'm looking forward to playing a sim here. A lot of the houses I built so far in this neighborhood are not considered starter homes. Like a sim fresh out of college or fresh out of the cast would not be able to afford it with just 20,000 simoleons. So part of the reason I built all of these is so that I have a place for sims to kind of start out. But these were really fun to make. Definitely not my general build style. The garish colors and things not matching and stuff like that was kind of hard for me, but I really enjoyed the way that they turned out. So this one's got just one little cabinet and then an island. There's not a ton of space, so they'll have to put maybe 1 or 2 stools there and not really have a lot of space for anything else. Bathroom, again, is really small. I don't even know if I put a mirror here, did I? No, I forgot to. Let's go ahead and add a mirror real quick. We'll just do, whoops, that one. So there you have that. And then again, this is more of that studio style where you basically just come back here and have a bedroom. These are smaller than those other ones that I built, but here's the green one. Oh my gosh, this floor. I used to use this floor all the time when I first started playing this game, and now I hardly ever do because it just seems so bright. I don't know if I've just gotten like more boring as I've gotten older, or I'm so used to like The Sims 4 where everything just matches. But it was fun to like really lean into the vibes of Sims 2 and make these like bright, happy apartment style trailers. So again, you have a cute little kitchen, just enough space to cook and put some chairs. And then that leads right into the bedroom back here, which is definitely a good size. I mean, you can easily put a full size bed back here and still have plenty of room for other things. So maybe a TV and a dresser and some skilling objects, things like that. So yeah, I really had fun building this little area out. I have 3 units that you can purchase. They're considered residential lots, and each of those has a driveway as well. And then we have these other units over here. This one has 4 trailers. And like I said, it's looks like it's buried in the hill. And then this is actually a Maxis made lot that comes with the game. These are super tiny. Like they are actually kind of difficult to play, I think, because they are so small. But I love that it's all self-contained. They have like a little area in the front. I've seen quite a few people use these to make videos on YouTube. So that's been kind of fun as well to see those. But yeah, this is my Sunnydale Trailer Park, which is in my custom hood, Willow Ridge. I'm enjoying building this up. I'd really like to continue to do these tour videos as I build more. If we zoom out a little, you can see I built a library, and then I have quite a few other community lots. This is your, smaller residential area. We've got some larger houses over here. I don't have any sort of camera mods, so I can only go so far, but some of these houses, like quite a few of these, I actually downloaded. This one I built myself. The speed build is actually on YouTube. So I have some of these larger lots that I've built pretty big houses on. I'm playing through a gigantic family right here with this lot. And this is the one that I was mentioning earlier where I said that it's just hard to play such a large house because it's hard to find everybody. And they have this beautiful pool that they've literally never used because I kind of keep forgetting it's there. But this is going to be apartments over here. And then I'm not really sure. I have a whole bunch of parks throughout the area. But then these are considered like your super wealthy, larger homes. I have some more like Victorian style houses I built over here. And then down here as well, I'd really like to build some beach apartments. I might make that lot actually smaller. Here, I'll rotate this way. So I'll have like a beach and a boardwalk, a coffee shop, and some apartments over here. I also have this one up as well. It was a little industrial home that I kind of challenged myself to build. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to do some more of these walkthroughs just to kind of show what I've been building. I'm going to probably build a couple more of these, like there's a bank, a laundromat, a coffee shop, that kind of thing. And then I can also tour the library as well. So thank you for watching, and subscribe if you would enjoy more of these types of videos.